So Congressman Eric Swalwell just called for a presidential crimes commission. You know what has a nice ring to it? The Trump Crimes Commission. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So I have to admit, I am excited that Congressman Eric Swalwell, former presidential candidate, and if I had to guess, I would say future presidential candidate, tweeted out yesterday that he believes there needs to be a presidential crimes commission beginning in January to attack all of the crimes, all of the lawlessness we have seen in our federal government over the last 3.5 years, including those who enabled Donald Trump in committing his crimes and in getting away with his crimes. Before I turn to that topic, I want to first say that you all sent me a lot of comments yesterday and a lot of direct messages, and you reached out in any number of ways to say, Glenn, you didn't post a YouTube video yesterday. And I can't tell you how gratified I am that, one, you all noticed, and two, you felt strongly enough about it to reach out to me. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Let me tell you that the reason I didn't post a video yesterday, and I have posted a video a day for more than 100 days running now about the Trump crime of the day or the Bill Barr, abuse of the rule of law du jour. The reason I didn't do it yesterday is because I was working on my podcast, which will launch today, Saturday, September 15th, and it's called Justice Matters. And I am so excited about it. And if you listen to podcasts, I welcome you, I urge you to give it a listen. Tonight will be between a 30 and 45 minute podcast, original content, and we're going to talk in greater detail about the need, the non-negotiable need for a Trump Crimes Commission. I would also add that we just put up a Patreon page. If you're not familiar with it, Patreon is somewhere you can go and volunteer to support our content. And I would love for you to support our content because we need all the help and support we can get. This is a family-run operation here. And you'll see that if you go to our Patreon page, there's an opportunity to sign up for different levels or tiers, they call it. You can get ad-free podcasts, early release podcasts, original content podcasts that aren't otherwise posted, some behind-the-scene glimpses, and also you can get a 1-hour Zoom Q&A session, which I'll be doing once a week because I very much want to hear from you. I want to be able to answer the questions that are important to you, and I want to learn from you because, truth be told, I learn as much from you all as you learn from me, probably more. And I really want to hear from you about what guests you would like for me to have on the podcast. A guest may be of interest to me. That doesn't mean he or she will be of interest to you. So if you're interested in supporting our content, please go to our Patreon page. So with that, let me turn to today's topic. Congressman Swalwell tweeted out something similar to what I've been saying for well over a year now. And let me start by reading his tweet. He said, "I don't say this lightly. When we escape this Trump hell, America needs a presidential crimes commission. It should be made up of independent prosecutors who look at those who enabled a corrupt president. Example 1, sabotaging the mail to win an election. Hashtag save the post office." Now, I've been calling it the Trump Crimes Commission, and Congressman Swalwell calls it a presidential crimes commission, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I mean, I call it the Trump Crimes Commission because Volume 2 of the Mueller report already documents and presents to us as many as 10 felony obstruction of justice crimes committed by the president. So that investigation has been done. It's a blueprint for prosecution beginning in January, and prosecutors just have to pick up the ball and run with it. So I don't think it's unfair to label it the Trump Crimes Commission because crimes have already been documented exhaustively and meticulously, and that evidence preserved by Bob Mueller for a future prosecution. But Presidential Crimes Commission works just as well. You know, there is a need, a non-negotiable need, to hold today's political criminals accountable in January. Why do I say it's a non-negotiable need? Because, folks, I was inside the federal government for 30 years as a prosecutor. First as an Army JAG beginning in the 80s, and then I finished up after almost a quarter of a century as a Department of Justice federal prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia. And you know what I learned dealing with victims and communities for 30 years? There is no healing without accountability. There is no deterrence of other wrongdoers without accountability. There is no justice without accountability. You can't heal, you can't deter future crime, you can't achieve justice by declining to hold criminals accountable for their crimes. How about this hypothetical? Let's assume that we have a victim of a robbery or a burglary or a rape. If we were to tell those victims, if the government, the prosecutors were to say, the way to heal, the way to move forward in your life, the way to come to terms with your victimization, which was horrible, the way to put your nightmare behind you, is to decline to hold your attacker accountable. That's how you heal. That's how we achieve justice. That, ladies and gentlemen, to use a legal term, is insane. That's the opposite of justice. It's the opposite of allowing for healing. It's the opposite of deterring future crimes. People say, well, if the new administration, the Biden administration, goes after the old administration, the Trump administration, it will just be, vindictive. It will be political retribution. No, it won't, folks. It will be justice. Justice that's been delayed by Bill Barr because he will not bring charges or open criminal investigations into executive branch officials who commit crimes. He won't do it. He won't protect and serve the people of the United States or the Constitution. He will only protect and serve Donald Trump. So that means no criminal investigations of Donald Trump or his cabinet members or his family members, frankly. But let's use another hypothetical to highlight just how wrong the argument is that we can't possibly go after today's political criminals beginning in January because it would look vindictive or it would look like revenge. Let's assume a high-dollar donor who was very close with Donald Trump committed a bank robbery. A bank robbery, you may know, is a federal offense. Why? Well, if somebody robs a 7-Eleven, that's not a federal offense. If somebody robs a bank because the bank money is insured by the federal government, that makes it a federal crime. That's why bank robberies are federal crimes, and robberies of convenience stores and carryouts and fast food joints are not federal crimes. If a high-dollar donor, a close associate of Donald Trump, committed a bank robbery, and we knew about it, the FBI caught him, and Bill Barr said, wait a minute, that's a high-dollar donor of Donald Trump. It's a close associate of Donald Trump. I will not authorize a prosecution of that person. If Joe Biden's administration and his attorney general revisited that horrific, unfair, unjust, improper, potentially unlawful prosecutorial decision by Bill Barr, declining to prosecute a bank robber because of his association with Donald Trump, would you say that's revenge? Would you say that's political retribution? No. It's actual justice when Bill Barr refused to do justice in the first instance. Folks, it's no different with political criminals and political crimes. Let's use another hypothetical. Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, right? We already know he was being investigated by Inspector General Steve Linick for all kinds of potential wrongdoing, both misusing State Department resources for personal reasons and engaging in a shady, questionable, perhaps illegal $8 billion arms sale to Saudi Arabia that Congress was against. He was being investigated for all of this by Inspector General Steve Linick. So what does he do? He fires the Inspector General to put a stop to the investigation into his potential wrongdoing. And then what does he do after that? When Congress lawfully issues subpoenas to State Department employees to investigate Mike Pompeo's cover-up, not to mention his wrongdoing in the first instance, Mike Pompeo orders all State Department employees to refuse to comply with lawfully issued congressional subpoenas. That represents, if you look at that hypothetical, that represents all sorts of potential criminal offenses, federal crimes under our United States Code by Mike Pompeo. Are we saying that if those crimes were committed, and Bill Barr won't touch him with a 10-foot pole because they might come back to haunt Donald Trump, are we saying that they shouldn't be investigated in January because it would look like revenge? No, it would look like justice. It would look like exactly what we're supposed to do. Fairly, fully, aggressively, honestly, and ethically, and in a nonpartisan, apolitical manner, investigate crime in the grand jury. Let the grand jurors, as the conscience of the community, make a decision after they've seen all the evidence. Did Mike Pompeo break the law? And if he didn't, he should not be charged. But if he did, he must be charged. That's the way our country is supposed to work. So it wouldn't be revenge. It wouldn't be political retribution. It would be justice. It would simply be justice delayed, courtesy of the current lawless Attorney General, Bill Barr. So let's go back to Eric Swalwell's tweet for a minute, because he says, I don't say this lightly, but when we escape this Trump hell, America needs a presidential crimes commission. And I couldn't agree with him more. Because you cannot heal, you cannot deter future crime, you cannot achieve justice without accountability for people who are slowing the mail today, slowing the mail to interfere in our free and fair elections. You know, that should be a marquee crime investigated by the grand jury beginning in January. Folks, think about what Trump and his Postmaster General Louis DeJoy are doing. Think about what they're doing. They are delaying mail delivery. They are delaying our receipt of our checks that we need to buy food and to pay rent. They are delaying the receipt of our bills. I don't like getting bills any more than anybody else, you know, and I always close one eye as I open the mailbox and, oh, there's a bill. But you know what? We need our bills in a timely manner if we are to avoid, you know, penalties and late fees. They're delaying meds being delivered to seniors. They're delaying meds being delivered to veterans. There can be no healing, there can be no deterrence, there can be no justice without accountability. And the only way we can achieve accountability is if we fully and fairly investigate all of the crimes that are unfolding before our eyes in the harsh light of day by Trump and company. And only then can we hope to achieve justice. And you know what? Justice matters. It matters. So folks, thank you for being so attentive and letting me know when I miss a day posting a YouTube video. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I hope you'll go and listen to the podcast, Justice Matters, first episode loading today. And if you're inclined to support our content, we can use all the help we can get. This is a community. This is team justice. I would be grateful. Until next time, which will be tomorrow, please stay safe. Thanks, folks.